Well, I want to get this on there at this point.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So
Yeah.
at this point, I need to sum it up.
Get what on there? What are you talking about? Get your fucking
whole conversation that we're in here.
Okay.
Basically, the argument is what I'm making is that I think that YouTube is the best social media, and it doesn't be treated as such. It gets treated as Google. So on YouTube, I can create a feed of directly I want to see. Yes, what you're saying is they can still pop up and they can still put shit there, but I have the option of either clicking not interested in that specific video or don't recommend that channel to me. Why can I not get that anywhere on Facebook? I can't do that. I literally cannot do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
When you click like an ad pops up
So-
and you click don't show this ad, right? You can click whatever you want. They'll still show you the ad again. You can click, oh, why did, and then you got to explain why you didn't want to show the ad, and you have to give a reason. You can't just say tired of, well, you could say repetitive, but you can't just say don't want ads. You can't just say less ads, or not even pertains to me, something. It's like, I don't understand that. Or like YouTube, it's like, look, here, I'll give you an option. And if you don't like it, you can hit no. And I'm going to give you another option. You might not want my options, but I'm going to keep giving them to you. And that's okay. Because I understand that's what you do. That's how you make your money. But if I can say no and you never offer it again, bam, that's a great deal. I like that deal. That's what YouTube offers me. It's the only place. I was actually learning a lot about this. There's a bunch of shit I want to get into you with today, bro. So number one, I want to get into that like Netflix. I was learning about Netflix. The thing about Netflix shows, they have a special algorithm. And I didn't know that. So I was getting to the background of them. And it's two guys, and they lie about the story. And they say that it comes from like this, he rented a Blockbuster movie, he lost it, then he found it 6 weeks later, it was like $48. That's not the truth, though, really. They were just really trying to bash their competitor at the time. Basically, these guys like had like everything you need to create a business, and they did. Granted to them, right? But like they had the money, they had the time, they were carpooling together. So like it was just two friends that were going over like ideas. So they started coming up with these ideas. And like at first, Netflix, I'm trying to sum all this up fast, obviously.
Yeah.
At first,
see what you're talking about.
At first, Netflix was you could buy DVDs from them, bro. So it was like 7 DVDs a month for $21 or something like that. And they would send you DVDs. So like these guys are experimenting with all these options and shit. And eventually they come around to the Netflix idea of streaming things. And before that, they actually signed with TiVo. I don't know if you know that. Netflix originally signed with TiVo. And that's how they even created the streaming. Was originally through TiVo. They ended up going their separate ways, blah, 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 right? So then Netflix has this thing and they're trying to figure out the best. Well, the thing about Netflix is like their recommendations. Like, I don't know how, if you're on every single one, but like Netflix is one of the better ones at like their recommendations and shit. And I never really knew why until this. They have a special algorithm where they have like, obviously I'm not this guy to be explaining this. But they have something going on where the videos that you're supposed to like, when you watch a video, you're supposed to rate it or, like it or unlike it and then rate it. Those ratings are then like compared with other people who rate it that like similar topics to you. And then it filters through that. So it's kind of like a second filter, if you get what I'm saying. It filters the filtered. Mm-hmm. And then it gives you like this really specific recommendations that you like. Of course, like Netflix is just now making a profit. For 5 years, they made no money.
Yeah, they were
for 5 years,
amounts of debt, bro.
Dude, $150 million 1 year, right? You look at their portfolio, and at one point, they were spending 100% of their income on marketing, and it was more than their income. They were spending, basically, you could, take every dollar they made, and you could spend it on marketing and they still wouldn't have enough money to cover how much marketing they were doing.
Yeah.
And this really comes from the original guys funding himself, funding believing in the company and funding it because he had sold another company. Then they got like a 30 million hedge fund to give them. So then they got shit going. And now they're ultra productive. I just thought that was funny that they're the ones with like the special algorithm. So these guys really created something just carpooling every day. Tossing ideas out, bro, and just building on it. And, we can't even sit here and come up with a fucking idea, It's like, fuck.
So that was okay, I got you.
Yeah, I have to send you, like, the summary of it, bro, so you can see just, like, how many times they adapted Netflix. It's like, it's this. No, it's this. No, it's this. They just kept learning and going with it.
Yeah, and I remember the one thing about their money being spent on marketing was that, they had no problem.
Different pack.
Yeah, bro, shit was grapey, bro.
Whoa, this is great. I would
smell the bag, and I'd be like, grapes.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you. But anyway, because they had zero problems with customer retention. You know what I'm saying? I think their customer retention was in, in the not in like the 90%, whereas like 90% of people, who signed up, kept going and kept, subscribed for, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense that they're dumping all their money into, and that's the thing, man. Another thing, I remember when that report came out with their debt mounting, that was when they had just started kicking off their own productions. They started investing and doubling down on a lot of Netflix original content,
Right.
Which again,
which they're all doing now.
Exactly, because the one thing that with Netflix, especially as time has gone on, everything's streamed nowadays. There's so many different streaming services nowadays. You have HBO, Disney, which Hulu, Fox, Disney, all them, is turning out to be one of its biggest competitors. Because there's a lot of pretty much hype, about the Disney and their streaming future. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the shit that they own under Disney. So I mean, like that's the whole, for them to then go into making their own productions, whatnot, was their 100% their smartest move. And that's the thing, once you get that, because I remember Netflix back. I'm in middle school,
You remember that far?
Well, I remember my sister had, the beginning stages of Netflix when this was when this was nothing other than someone that would mail the DVDs to your house.
So she knows that far back. Got you. Yeah, I don't even remember that.
For no late fees, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when she signed up for it, I'm just like, I remember when she would have these movies, I'm just like, wow, this is fucking crazy. Like, I remember sitting, I'm just like, you got bread. And, I'm just like, for some reason, that flex, you know what I'm saying? So like they would just send DVDs back, no late fees, you keep as long as you want, and then you return it when you want. That was their original model, before the streaming was even like a fucking thing.
Right.
So I mean, like,
and they just built.
Already off the jump, they're taking one of the biggest blows to Blockbuster, which everyone has. Right. And that was the thing.
We're sending it to you.
They come up with that bullshit.
We're sending it to you.
Like, oh, I remember I lost it, and the next thing I know, I owe $48. Yeah, of course that's the perfect meetup.
Perfect, right?
Because you know what? Guess what we're trying to solve?
Yeah.
No,
for $21.
No late fees.
Well, originally, so before the DVDs, you were allowed to get one. You were allowed to get 3 of them for 7 days, and they realized that doesn't work because originally their shit came with late fees. So that's how you know it ain't true. You know what I mean? They originally started with late fees. I wanted to get into something else with you. Did you watch that video I sent you about the ships?
You sent me so much shit, bro.
Oh no. I sent you the one.
The one.
Why are they breaking down ships?
Why are they breaking down ships? Yeah, that was the one of There, it was about that was the one about Mauritania, right? I might be getting mixed up because I watched another video on ships.
No.
On something similar.
Yeah, that's not this one.
Yeah. Okay, we're going ahead.
Well, I learned a lot from that video. Like, number one, I learned that like there's 2 different sectors of ship. There's like a certain amount that's basically Panama effective because the Panama Canal literally is a canal. Did you know that? Like, I didn't even understand. I didn't even like put that together in my head.
Yeah, so
they have to be narrow enough.
The land bridge is the narrowest point in the continent right there.
Is that all rubbered up, or I mean, what's the side of that? Is it just wood? Because they're so close.
It's all concrete, and that's the thing. They build these ships around those sizes, bro.
Right.
Because
and then you have ones that can't fit too.
Exactly, because there's a certain width and then there's a certain depth that these ships have to be able to go and length to be able to travel through this shit. Plus there's a weight limit. They
were showing something like he did some comparison of like if Sweden wanted to send something to Switzerland, I think it would cost like 3,000 euros basically because they would have to send it by semi truck basically, in the back of a truck. Where if they could send for 2,000 euros on a ship, they can send one from Sweden to Australia. So they can save a lot more money basically with these ships. And that's what I didn't understand. And it made me think a lot about like what you said, where you were like, I can't predict when it's coming. I keep hopping on the ship, and I can't predict when it's about to boom basically. And I was like, man, I think we might have to be steps ahead of steps to do that, right? You got to kind of start predicting like the fallout of things in the world, kind of like when they initially fall out. So that's what that was kind of tying together. Why are these people breaking down ships? If the world opens up tomorrow, they lose millions of dollars for breaking down them ships. The thing is, I didn't know this. China's doing a stimulus. But with their stimulus, it can only be spent on infrastructure. So you're only allowed to basically create jobs, and I guess spend it and build your own home and shit like that. So with all of this building going on in China at this time, keep this going.
Yeah. Oh, so I got something to add on this Chinese infrastructure shit you're talking about, bro.
So at all this time with all this building, they need shit to build. They need metal. They need iron, bro. So from 3 years ago, iron has gone up the price 300%. And it's mainly because they're not set. They don't need as much going out. People aren't producing as much iron, but also China is spending all this money on infrastructure. So it makes sense for them to break down ships now because they can make more money off of it. That's what I was summing up.
Gotcha. I got you. You're good. You're good. Yeah. So with China, one thing I was reading up on the other day, since I think it's about like the 90s or so or early 2000s, they've pretty much had in place this like it's like in different increments, like 5, 10, 25, and like 50-year like stage plan type of deal. So right now they're in like stage 5 of like the first like 10 years or something. So at each of these different stages, they invested in the different parts of their infrastructure. One of the stages also including investing in infrastructure internationally. So one thing they did, with your mention for iron,
Is it Africa?
one of the biggest places is Africa. So
Right.
one thing that they've done, and it hasn't gotten much attention, I'm sure most people, like in the government know about it, but they, pretty much went to these countries, in the lower coast of Africa, lower southeast coast, and they pretty much give them, the offer to look, we'll build you a high traffic, huge, $1 billion port. But until you can pay it off, we own this bitch.
Right.
And they went to these
They own the
countries where they
mines.
pretty much never have
$1 billion.
no chance of ever paying it off in the foreseeable future. So they're gonna own these ports in Africa. And they also, of course, they own the mines and whatnot. I mean, they have their own separate thing
But
going on.
it's weird though, because that is kind of a thing though at the same time, right? Like it makes me think about Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Like technically they did sign that deal to be like what 50, 100 years in the future.
yeah,
And then eventually it does come.
yep,
So I guess like if you do want to, that's the problem. Like that guy was saying, he's like pretty much if you're a main locked country and you can't produce machinery, you can't basically produce anything for cheap. So you're going to kind of always be locked on a low GDP.
yep.
Because you can just never mass produce enough.
That's why China, China realized this. China realized that their country's GDP was 85%, manufacturing of goods. But what they're manufacturing are low cost goods.
Right.
That's what they're manufacturing. So one thing that they've switched to doing is being a huge tech, machinery, and pharmaceutical producing hub. I mean, if they're going to manufacture, they're going to manufacture the shit that's going to make the money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, we're done making your shirts. We're going to make your fucking phones. We're making your computers.
Right.
We'll make the machines that build those fucking phones and computers. We'll make the machines that scan shit. We'll make the fucking pharmaceuticals. You know what I'm saying? Like all
Isn't
that.
see when you do something like that though, that's when it kind of benefits where like they don't have an 8-year policy, right?
What do you mean 8-year policy?
For
Like,
presidents.
oh no.
They can go as long as they want, or what is it?
I believe they go as long as they want.
Or as long as they can, basically.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's
So with that spotlight, you can do shit like that, But with 8 years, you couldn't do a 5-step infrastructure plan.
Yeah, you can't do it long term.
Then you always got to hope that basically, it's a Democrat and he basically, or it's whoever you are, Republican,
Yep.
continues and they do whatever you did, which ain't no guarantee at all.
Yeah, and that's the one thing with like China is like I think will be the foreseeable rise and overall them overtaking kind of like the world and first like financial technology, pretty much all the major things you want to look for in a country that could possibly overtake America's economy.
Yeah.
And you see them, I mean, they're investing in roads throughout even the landlocked parts, and they're investing in lots of huge highways that span all the way up through into Turkey and shit.
Right.
And
as
all
a
the way up through
president,
into
you're saying, okay,
the
I get elected.
stems.
Say I get elected when I'm 45, 50 years old. I'm president for 20 years. I can see these things through. Look at like Well, $8.95.
Yeah.
That's going to take them, like, what they say, 5 years basically to add one lane to that whole thing. Like, that shit takes time for sure, bro. That shit definitely takes time. And I mean, that's almost a president's 2 terms, you know?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, they have the advantage. They have the advantage of pretty much state-owned companies. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have the
Right.
advantage of owning these huge construction companies to where it's like, look, you're not gonna fuck us over. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a private company that the government's dealing with. Whereas in China, it's China dealing with China. You know what I'm saying? China wants to build this highway. They're gonna build the highway.
It's funny though,
And whatever
'cause,
the
like,
cost, it's like, the quicker you get it done, the more money you can fucking pay.
and it's scary, right? But
giving you a blank check.
at the
Let's
same
go.
time, like, I'm sure they do pay. They
Yeah.
pay,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
And if you're
Billions of dollars.
and if you're like, they do have healthcare too, right?
Yeah.
They have free healthcare, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Every first world country has free healthcare, I believe, right? Besides America. I'm pretty sure that's what the stat is. You got us?
Yeah, I'm looking.
I'm pretty sure they say every major country has universal health care besides America.
Yeah, whereas
And we
about 95% of the population has at least basic health insurance coverage. The Chinese government is working on providing affordable basic health care to all residents by 2020.
yeah, so okay, so yeah.
So yep, yeah.
So is it every major country though? Right? Is every major or first world, however you got to put it, besides America.
Let's see about major countries' health care. So let's see. I'm trying to get the so yeah. Such as the UK government also includes directly managed healthcare system.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a fact.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
What you got us? Well, we ain't gonna let Steve.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so
it's right?
I mean, yeah, countries with universal healthcare. Yeah, and I mean yeah, exactly, pretty much. Even Russia.
Does America spend the most on healthcare? The U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other country. This is another thing. So we're the only country without universal healthcare,
So
and we spend the most.
there was a I forgot, there was a report, article, whatever you want to call it, where they went around to the world's biggest countries, the world's largest countries, most advanced countries, whatever you want to call them, and they were comparing the prices of the cost of pretty much basic procedures, MRIs, broken bones, that type of thing, with some of the most common pregnancies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And on average, America costs about 4 times more, than any of these countries.
With a
So I
privatized
mean, like an
healthcare system.
MRI being like $900 in Australia, and in
1900 here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, more like 3,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to have birth is 5,000,
Yep.
and like that's free everywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, and a lot of people make the argument that that America has the best doctors, the people coming here, and they're the most, but really that's based on a regional basis. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have a lot of these major hospitals at the top 10 being in the largest cities in America.
Let me say 2 things on that, right? Number 1, Steve, who's all the fucking doctors, bro? It ain't Americans, bro. They come from other countries. So yes, they are a top doctor at a top spot, but most of them are fucking Indian, Pakistani, Afghanistan, Korean, whatever it is. They all come from different spots because of the health, because the most money to be made is here.
Yeah.
And that's what the fuck it is. So yeah, that's going to inspire that. But I mean, and that would be my first point on that. And my second point would be, let's just say it's true, Steve. Give me second best for free. You know what I mean? If you say the first guy's bought, I'm like, okay,
for free.
give me exactly.
Give
Give me the 10th best fucking dentist for free. I'll take it.
Exactly.
The 100th best dentist.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and that's the ultimate thing is that, like, people like it. Why? It's like, why not? I mean, like, the biggest things that people wonder about is cost. I'm like, everyone thinks about the cost and this shit, upwards of like, $1 trillion or some stupid shit like that, whatever the case may be. But I mean, like, what can you come up with some other solution? Because right now, what we're doing is not fucking working. I mean, like, we see a lot of things where people are like, well, what about the cost? What about the cost? It's like, well, what the current system with its current costs, whatever, however high they may be, are still high as fuck, and we ain't getting shit done. We're not getting anything done. Just like when people are like, okay, let's have sites where people can safely inject these drugs. Safe injection sites. It's like, oh, well, this, we're just gonna give them the go at the green light for people to be addicts and this and that. But okay, well, the current shit is not working. This seems to be a crazy, new, innovative, idea that could possibly fucking work. You know what I'm saying? Or at least help manage the deaths involved with the shit.
Okay, hold on. What was the first topic you were touching? Was what?
Pretty much my whole basis for that was, where we're talking about, solutions that are being tossed around.
Yeah, I was wondering what your first example was.
I think I think the first one I touched on was.
Oh yeah, okay, exactly. So here's the thing: when you said
the cost,
you said
the cost of healthcare.
The truth is the cost of healthcare, right? You got to know the ugly truth, and the ugly truth is, if they gave you free universal health care, they would then have to give you mandatory military service. And I think that's what it really all comes down to. I've said it many times. It's like they're never going to make school free, and they're never going to make healthcare free, because it's the main incentive to sign up for the military.
Very true.
You got a country like China is like, okay, we'll provide you healthcare, but you're going to give us what, 4 years or whatever it is.
Not only that, but in America, you seem to have this, fight between private insurance companies and doctors, where it's like, all right, well, we need to perform this procedure.
Yeah, that's a whole
we
different
won't
thing.
Cover this.
Yeah,
and then we have doctors, and we have pricing in America.
We're covered in generics.
Where we're already charging 4 times more than the next leading country.
And that we've already gotten to the FDA 1,000 times about how sloppy they are, and then we allow them to charge whatever they want for the pill. You know what I mean? It's just so much just.
And this is the thing, we
recklessness.
We as the people of this country are being sold out to these types of companies.
Yeah,
off the jump. I mean, like. Everyone, so I think Republican, Democrat, you can both agree. Most of us hate corporations, huge corporations that take crazy big profits. We all agree that most of them are corrupt. We would agree on the same side as with the government, and we're allowing both of these people to bend us over, and no one's really wanting anything. I mean, the minute we come up with some type of other solutions, okay, well, maybe universal healthcare, like most of the other world does. Yeah, we could talk about one thing that we bring up a lot is like America is one of the biggest countries, and how do you manage all these people? I mean, Australia, they have fucking not even a quarter of the population we have. UK, same thing. But when like it seems like America and Americans are afraid of making leaps. We're afraid to make these changes because for some reason people are dug into something.
We're not afraid. I feel like our generation and like even people the generation before us aren't afraid. You know what I mean? It's just so much money invested that they never want to turn it around. But like you said, right, we're already sold out to these companies. From the time you're born, you know about the straw man. Yeah. Like you already owe money basically, to the corporations from the time that you fucking get printed a Social Security card. From you get a Social Security number. Before you get the card, you're already owed X amount. If you heard about that, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about the Social Security number being made when it was enacted. It was pretty much It was pretty much like a debt owing. I think that's what you get into. I
don't know exactly how to word
it. Exactly. I'm trying to figure out how to word it. So pretty much it's saying that when you're given a Social Security number, you're inheriting, a certain debt that you then must repay back in your lifetime, I believe. Well, strawman, I know if you look up strawman, you probably won't find it because the strawman fallacy is one thing.
They put a number on it. There's a real number though. I'd have to sit here and try to type it in right, but there's a real number that America puts on you. The moment every country does. The moment they give you Social Security card, they give you identification, they predict that you're going to give the economy X amount of dollars. What I want to get into is the fact that you're already sold out, right? I don't want to go into an anti-vaxxer argument, but like the moment you're born, bro, they owe them corporations them vaccine doses. They bought them vaccine doses from them corporations, bro, and they need to use them. They need to. It's simple as that. So I don't believe that. I think it's 64 different types of strains of vaccine that a child gets within like the first 9 months. I believe it is. Some I had to look that up, but it's somewhere around right around that range where it's like, bro, do you believe that you need 64? Like I believe that, like I believe in vaccines. Like I do believe that can be a goal.
Yeah, no, there's
But like you're just like, I feel like it gets to the point where it's like, okay, so I'm an anti-vaxxer, right? Because we can all agree that we don't even gotta. It don't matter if you agree because it's fucking fact that they you could put whatever price on a pill. You know what I mean? And they're going to push them pills. They're going to make a generic pill for cheaper that they're going to push too. They let fucking lobbyists lobby for these fucking medicines. The FDA will pass anything that you give them pretty much. You know what I mean? There's so much shit going on there. But if you deny that a vaccine is bad, you're an anti-vaxxer. So everything else they're trying to make a dollar off. They could sell a 10,000 oxycodons and get a trip to Cancun. But the vaccines they don't make money off of. You're a fucking fool, bro. You're a fucking fool if you're doing that. You're just blind, bro. It's simple as that. You don't need to use the word anti-vaxxer. It's simple as that. They make money off of everything in the healthcare system. There's kickbacks from everything in the healthcare, from MRIs to CAT scans to CT scan, whatever the fuck you get. That fucking thing is somebody's getting a kickback from that. Somebody made money off of you getting that.
And from my understanding, especially when it comes related to doctors, I believe it was only up until the last couple of years where doctors were allowed direct payments for the prescriptions that they wrote.
Yeah, and I told you what they switched it to.
Yeah, and I believe that was a result of the Purdue case, with Purdue pushing pharmaceuticals, where they're pretty much paying doctors for writing these prescriptions.
Okay, so it's 16 different vaccines. I don't have to get into this, but I'm pretty sure like it's the strains. So like the vaccine can have multiple strains in it, I believe. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go 16. You can't name 16 things.
With I think the big thing with anti-vaxxers and people who I'm not even sure what you would call them. Vaxxers, anti-vaxxers, and vaxxers. We'll just call it that.
Yeah,
so I think one of the biggest things is that what people focus on too much is the person who doesn't get like any vaccine, and they believe some really off the wall shit, and vaxxers directly attack that, and then same thing with anti-vaxxers where they're like, all right, you believe in all 16 of these vaccines, and they throw all this other. I think a lot, what it's like, it's like crazy how these groups kind of like get into a war, and how much dust it kicks up when like these two groups of people go at each other and they're attacking the craziest things about each one. You know what I'm saying? And instead of looking at what you kind of both, kind of like look at what you're like, okay, well, me as a, I personally, I'm on the side of like, I believe in vaccines. I wouldn't consider myself an anti-vaxxer. But I agree with you that I mean, like
they make money from it, right?
There were some, that, and and there were some like my grandmother. I remember me specifically. I still wasn't 18. I think I was like 15, and we were at the office, and she's talking to them about something, and I got like the usual ones where it's like a rabies, like a rubella or some shit, and like measles, whatever those shits are. And there was one for like pneumococcal meningitis or something, and she's talking to them, and they're like, all right, well, this one also has like, side effect, it's like, paralysis is one of them. And she's just like, oh, hell no. Oh, fuck ass no. And she's like, well, why would he need this? And I was like, well, if you're going away to college and staying in random dorm rooms, that might be a good case. She's like, well, no, hell, fuck that. I didn't get that one.
And exactly. And that's like what my sister did. She picked and chose the one she thought was appropriate.
Exactly. And since the time that we were babies to now, I'm sure the vaccines you get at birth have only increased.
Right.
So I mean, because I remember with me, I think I could only really recall like the 4 that you still have to get, which was like, remember the ones you had to get to go to school?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Chicken pox and stuff like that.
What I'm saying is everybody believes in different shit there, right? So like you have somebody that tells you like, bro, I believe in vaccines, but then they're fucking tell you that 9/11 was an inside job. You know what I mean? Or that Obama's from Kenya. Or that there was a fucking second shooter. So we all believe in different shit. And like every person that's sitting there making those arguments, they all believe in something. If you believe in aliens, you'd be just as crazy as if you believe that vaccines are a conspiracy, you know? And I'm not even making the argument that they're conspiracy. All I'm saying is the entire industry itself is for profit.
Yep.
So to
Yep.
think that, oh, those vaccines, that's what it's come to. That's what we take those so our babies don't die. Yes,
And-
we're all a fan of vaccines. I think that vaccines can work. Why?
And-
Let's go to something real quick though.
What is-
Why do we need vaccines?
There's a quick side note,
Right.
real quick. Before we get into that, is and that's why we need to change that system to where we have state-run healthcare organizations, with proper funding. Because straight up with the privatized machine, what you have is this for-profit machine that's just turning out, like you said, shit for just,
Right.
money.
But that's what I'm saying though, Steve. Because listen,
Yeah.
right, here's the thing: vaccines are, to healthcare and to humans what pesticides are to mass farming. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The problem is that you created too much of it. And now when it does breed, you lose out, basically. You're losing mass swarms,
Yeah.
We keep fucking creating so many cows that they have to give them antibiotics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that they don't die.
And-
If the fact of the matter is, you're not supposed to be this many people in one spot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't need all of these vaccines. If someone gets, if you're in a tribe and someone gets infected, it's easy to single that person out and say, hey, we're going to help you fight it, but it's death or it's you live or you die. That's easy to do. But when you got something like this where it's 10 million people, it's fucking out of hand in a second, bro. And you can't make the vaccine quick enough to help people, It's the fact of the matter is there's too many people, not on the planet, in one spot, right? Because we've already proven, I've already brought it before, it's a fact, you can fit everybody on the planet in California. Everybody, 7 billion people can fit in California. Would it be shoulder to shoulder? I don't know. It's something like that, though.
Right.
You could definitely fit in California. The people is not the problem, bro. It's about the fact of we integrate it to like these certain areas. Like we gotta have beachfront property. So we're gonna build fucking a million condos here, and we're gonna spend, $10 million every 2 years drenching this to recreate this beach, so we can create these people. And we're just like creating our own problem, bro. We're our own worst enemy.
That was the big thing. It's like it always made sense for people to settle on water, and that's the reason you have, your top 10 biggest cities all being coastal cities. They always end up turning out to be huge economic trading hubs, which has been like the pillar of like human economy forever.
Okay.
Trading.
Okay. So
Now,
when you're trying to settle on water, right? Why are you trying to settle on water? When you're trying to settle on water, you're trying to settle on your own water. If you settle on seawater, brother, you have no water. You don't even know how to convert that. Okay. So if you're talking about we're settling on water because we're going to have a huge population and we're going to need somewhere to dump all of the sewage, and maybe we do like a nuclear reactor and we need water for our factories to cool. I get that, right? What I'm saying is it should never get that big, bro.
Oh yeah,
Exactly,
man.
It should never get so big that I have to send a cargo ship 5,000 miles to get me like things that I need so I can sell them to my people for a reasonable price.
And that's
insane.
Thing. And that's the thing. It's way cheaper for me to put products on a cargo ship that goes from California to China
and back.
It's just to come over back in New York.
For you to buy it, right?
Exactly.
Instead of you going to New York and buying it.
Exactly.
Or producing it, should we say, right?
Yep.
Instead of you going to New York and producing it, which is just absolutely crazy. And like the fact that like these people have to like wear a stamp of honor, like American made, dude, that's sad. That's pathetic. It should be a given it's American made. I mean, you got your like. Not even trying to get into the Trump debate, but like Trump's sitting there, he's doing this big debate. I loved when he was talking about China. At the same time, his ties are still made there. At the same time, his daughter's clothing line is made there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really care about American made that much. You care about the profit more than anything, and that shows directly.
And that's where you're gonna go to China for cheap. You're gonna get your napkins made in Taiwan. You're gonna get your silverware that's made in China. You're gonna get your fucking ceramic plates
right?
that are made in Thailand.
When you are buying that much, you can buy American made and make a profit. It
Yeah.
just would be a slimmer profit than if you got Chinese. So you're just making the moral decision to go overseas from somewhere else and purchase, but then you want to sit here and try to act like Mr. Patriot?
Yeah.
America, America, America. I don't want to hear that from any of you guys unless you're American made. You better need something from another country if you ain't American made. That's what I'm saying. And let's make it easier for our country. Why is it like that? Why is it that it's cheaper over there? Well, is it slave labor? Okay, then you know what? If the fact is that child and slave labor is what makes Chinese products so cheap, no more products from China until they make it a law. They cannot have children in slave labor. What's up, bro? What's up? Go hard,
bro.
Go hard. Put your money where your mouth's at,
bro? And this is the thing, I am all for it.
We illegalized child work in here, but then we buy for. We still buy for these places.
That's the thing. We can sit on our high horse.
We don't know
because it's illegal here.
You don't see it.
You know what I'm saying? No, listen. We sit on our high horse because straight up, we banned child labor back in the 20s.
But I want those Nikes for $80.
All our fucking American companies' products are made in these slave labor countries where it literally costs nothing.
We have to
legalize. They said to make the iPhone the way you make it in China, make it here, it would be $10,000 on an iPhone.
Yeah,
and that's because here in America, we have a minimum wage. We have requirements and taxes and shit like that.
All of those things.
All
of those things, but a major thing is the fact that it is government ran, right? So if I want to, I can take any bit of land at any given time. So when they do build those specific factories, I can give you right next door whatever you need. Like with those cobalt factories, they literally have the refining right next to where the mine's at, dude. It's across the street. That they put it on the truck, it goes across the street because China's able to do that. You know what I mean? They just in America, someone's gonna own that land. Are you gonna divine fucking what is it? God damn it, I forget the word of it.
What?
When you take people's lands. With a D. You take people's land, you buy people's land even though you don't want to sell it. Government does, America.
D word, no.
Eminent domain. Eminent domain. That's when basically you can buy, American could say, we need this land and this is what it's worth and we give it to you and you got to go. That's what they do with pipelines. When you see like people's, like there was that one lady that had her pipeline right out back because she just wouldn't leave, but everybody else did because they put a pipeline in her back.
Yeah, and that was
she's hanging clothes on it.
You remember?
What a weird time, dude.
I can't remember his name, but do you remember when those dudes took over that wildlife refuge in Oregon?
Yeah,
you remember that?
That was crazy.
That was over that type of dispute because they had generations of land for like cattle farming and shit. And America came in, just straight up took it, not all of it, but they took some of it and declared it for their own.
Eminent domain, the right of the government or its agent to expropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation, which they deem.
Yes,
not you.
Yes. So one thing that happened, I remember. So when I used to go to Dunbar High School, across the street there used to be another housing project. And I remember, the stories, I'm not sure how true they were, but the story was that, that was bought up by Hopkins. And, originally everyone was offered a certain amount. Some chose to take it, some chose to stay. And then eventually, after fighting those that chose to stay, they eventually got nothing, because straight up, the city allowed them to then, take that land.
Well, I know like with ODH, that was the thing with John Hopkins. Like in ODH, they had bought the one side. And I think they got majority of the people. Then they tried to buy that second side. My boy told me they gave every family, I think it was like $5,000. And they were supposed to basically use that to move. A lot of families just spent that $5,000, bro, and didn't move. And that's why ODH never got that side knocked down for so long. And they just now are like finally getting to like the end of that top right because the people just wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
That's crazy, ain't it? Yep. Like you can't just always tell people what to do. They're just like, you know what? No. And we spent your check, bitch. That's funny. You know about Waco?
Waco, Texas. That was they were what they deemed a cult. Right,
they didn't deem it that.
Yeah, the people there. That's what I'm saying. But like what the government.
What? Yeah, it's called. Yeah, American Scandal, bro. That's the one I'm on now. Waco. Yeah, finishing up on it. Wild, bro. That's pretty much what that was.
I know the gist, but not the details.
Right. So I'll try and sum it up from what I've learned so far. Is like, first of all, that land. It was from it. This lady had it. She was a prophet, and then this guy came, and that's David. Whatever the fuck his name is. David, what I forget what he changed his name to and shit, but his name's David something. And he ends up basically getting her, he fucks her and shit, and ends up getting her to say he's the next up and says he's a prophet.
Right.
And there was just little things that like I couldn't get over, like on that land. So they owned like this mountaintop, and it was like a bunch of acres. They didn't pay property tax for 20 years, bro, and nobody ever kicked them off. I was like, if you did that shit nowadays for 1 year, they would come and kick you right off. But these guys are allowed to do 20 years, and they're doing whatever they want up there, mind you, like whatever they want. So this guy comes up there and like, it's so funny, bro. It's very funny, right? Because at first he's like, he gets harder and harder, like as he goes. At first he's like,
The wild man.
he's like, he starts marrying people's daughters, dude. 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, yo. He's like, God told me to have a child. Then he starts fucking people's moms, bro. He's like, I need to have sex with the elderly women of the tribe to see if one of them can bear my child. So he's having tons of kids in this process with little kids, fucking seniors, and then he gets to the point where he tells the husbands that they need to be abstinent, but he's not. You know what I mean? And then he creates a diet where like they can only eat like bread and water for like 14 days or some shit every month. So like they were like on like strict diets, but he didn't abide by that diet. Right? It just gets funnier and funnier, right? So then like after shit starts heating up, he gathers all of them together. And then long story short, he tells them that they didn't deserve their wives and that their wives now belong to him. So he fucked their daughters, their moms, and their wives, dude. And he told them they couldn't eat or have sex. And all these people still followed him, bro. It's like 100 people, bro. So as he's building up, like he has this kind of Charles Manson type of feel where it's like helter skelter type of feel where they believe that like one day the government's going to come fight them, right? That's the whole belief is one day like they're going to be so religious and pure that the government's going to come for them one day. And when they come, when the battle starts, they're going to all ascend into heaven. That literally was the belief that he was telling them.
And lo and behold.
Yeah, so eventually they break in, bro. At this point, though, he knew the shit was coming. He had over 200 ARs, bro. He had hand grenades that he made. He had fucking hand grenades he made, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He made the ARs full auto. He made literally made them. Like he became like a gun expert. The prophet Jesus became a gun expert.
Yeah.
Right? So it's crazy. Like, so the FDA comes in to raid and shit, and they're ready, bro. They get like tipped off. They like catch a news station guy outside, and he's like, where's this mountain at? I'm looking for this mountain, and I gotta get up there and film this thing that's going on. And the guy is from there. And he's like, what? So he fucking runs back and warns them. So they're all ready, bro. So it's the FDA, bro. They had this like Trojan horse idea where they were supposed to be coming in for like they were supposed to be workers that were coming in with supplies, and then these trucks, they were like tenant trucks, and they had like storage things in the back, sheds in the back, with the trailers
Right,
basically, metal trailers that were supposed to be holding like work supplies and shit. And it's like Trojan horse style, bro. There's loaded up in the truck, and there's loaded up in that fucking trailer with FDA agents basically, but they know. So they're already looking out the windows and shit, but they're on the roof and everything. And like the guy's trying to warn them, but it's too late. And they just go in, bro. And as soon as they hop out, just ends up being a huge mass fight, and they win. The fucking religious guys win at first, bro. But the guy David got shot. They killed 4 FDAs the first day, and FDA killed 5 of theirs. So it's like that's not bad, you know what I mean? Considering the plan, yeah. So at that point, they're like in this standoff. I haven't finished it yet, but this is like they're in these negotiations. And how I was saying, like you get that $5,000 and you just spend it. That's how it all led to this. Was like that's pretty much what he did. So the second day, like he pretty much knows he's dying. So he's like, all right. He's like, he gives him 2 kids. Then he gives him like 2 more. And he's like, all right, my demand is I want my service, basically one of my recorded church services, to be broadcasted on TV. And he gets it, bro. They give it to him, and he doesn't surrender like he promised. He's like, God, give me a vision that we don't leave. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, yo. So then, like, everybody in there wanted to leave at this point. Like, they're following him, but they wanted to end. They killed FDA agents. Like, it's already pretty bad. FDA eventually has to back out, and FBI comes in. And the part I'm at now is like they bring tanks up, bro, and they surround the house with tanks after he like does that. Like they get super mad, and he's just like basically he knows he's dying because he's shot. He knows he's dying. So like the part I'm at, he starts bringing people in one by one, like kind of telling them what's going on and like telling them crazy shit. And it's just It just blew my mind about how far these people would go for this guy, and, it's really cool if you get a chance, listen to it for sure because there's a lot more shit into it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there was, this crazy brother that was originally that original prophet's, son, and, he wanted to take over, but, everybody was like, "You're not a prophet," you know what
yeah.
I mean? You're just saying you're a prophet because your mom's a prophet. So, dude, he buys Uzis, bro. He buys Uzis and goes Tony Montana on this fucking, uh on this mountain, dude, with this religious settlement because they took over his mom, the Prophet's Mountain, bro. He comes in with a Uzi and he's spraying, dude, and they got shotties and they're fighting this guy for this fucking crusades, basically. I mean, it's a crusades for the Davidians, I think is what they were called,
Yeah,
which is funny because his
and
name's David.
yeah,
It's just like, come on, dude, you gotta be. That lady said it on Joe Rogan, that Scientology lady. She was like, I'm so gullible. She was like, from the way that I grew up in that, I'm so gullible. Like, I believe anything. I never knew that people could lie and shit, you know? Like, they grow up in that. So,
yeah,
them kids, they don't even get it. You know how some people are like that, even as adults. Like, we've met certain women where it's just like, oh my God, you believe anything, or guys, you're going to get them to believe
yeah,
the
yeah,
Kyrie thing.
yeah.
Was
And
able to
people
believe
are
Kyrie, he
gullible. Some
couldn't look
people
you
can
in
be
the eyes.
gullible.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's just crazy how far, so this guy tells you, I just can't get over that part. This guy tells you, you can't eat for 2 weeks a month.
you don't deserve your wives.
Well, you can't eat for 2 weeks a month. You can't fuck nothing. I'm gonna fuck your wives, your kids, and your mothers. And he had over 100 people following him to the point where they would kill FDA and FBI agents, bro. It's like, I know those people are evil. It's like Hitler, where it's like, those people are evil, but whoa, that's pretty crazy,
Yeah,
mind strength
yeah,
going on there, bro, to be able to have
and
that many people and just make them
and
believe some
and I mean,
dumbass shit.
yeah, that and it's like it's also one of the moments, you're also forced to recognize what the government will also do. You know what I'm saying? To like
That's
fight those types of things. You
that's
know
what
what
I
I'm
was
saying?
trying to get
And
you
that's
tell, yo.
that's one of that's one of the reasons that Waco is such a monumental event.
Yeah, because basically that's what they were saying. That's what he was saying. He's like, well, first of all, the only thing that they were really prosecuting him on is suspicion of child abuse, which they had no proof because nobody would say nothing. They sent child services out there and shit, but no child would rat.
Yeah,
So they had this guy that left the mountain, went to Florida, and he was the one telling the FBI they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that. So they were just gonna bring him in with suspicion of whatever for having over 200 firearms,
yeah,
basically, and that's all they really had him on. But when they showed up with guns, his people just started shooting when they started shooting, and it just became that's what his argument. He's like, I don't understand why you were allowed to come here because I never did anything. All I ever did was this is my land. I'm doing what I do here,
yeah.
and you're coming in with guns and saying I gotta go.
Yep. Exactly, man.
Was what he was doing was obviously wrong, but it is weird that. It's the common thing. Like I tell you right now, go kill someone, go kill my neighbor, Steve, and you go do it. It's like, am I guilty? Am I guilty? If he got 100 people saying, I want to follow this guy, how can some FDA agent or some congressman say, no, no, he's not the prophet. Jesus is. You know what I mean? What? Or there's no prophet. How can you tell people
I
that?
see. I don't think it's the argument.
It's
It's just like
tough.
it's like when they. I think when it comes to because up until that point, it is weird that off the jump that they're doing this off with because with no proof because that's the whole what the whole justice system is built on. You're innocent until proven guilty type of deal. So for them to do that off the rip, is also weird. I mean, like you said, he's doing wrong shit. But I see your point when when people say okay, maybe the government did some crazy ass shit when they decided to invade this. But when it comes to people, like that one, like you referenced that woman, um, who said she was just gullible. I think we argued about it a little while, like a long time ago, where we talked about how especially as an adult, how this person could not be responsible for you to do that type of thing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this
Charles
type of
Manson. That's what we
yeah,
argue about.
yeah, and when it comes to this type of weird like organization of people, I mean, of course, he's also raping people, kids and shit. Um, when you come to that type of organization, you convince these people to do this type of thing. It's just I mean, of course you can hit the 5 individuals that killed those FDA agents, But like, say like they have firearm residue on everyone's hands. They can't pinpoint no more rat. It's like you can't get the whole group of those people. Like the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Here's my thing where I feel like I can just ruin the whole argument of it every time. This is where I get to in my head where I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying, where it's like, kind of do gotta find a way to hold these like evil people accountable for like
yeah,
manipulating
exactly.
people and shit, even though that's not technically a law. There's no law against manipulation, and you do have free will. So that's the argument, right? But let me just get to it, right?
Like murder and stuff, there is.
But okay, so you say murder, right? So like, here's where I always can end it, right? What if I was 7 years old and I told my 55-year-old random stranger guy to kill someone, and he did it? Am I guilty of manipulation at 7 years old on a 55-year-old man? No. You would never convict a 7-year-old for that. Why? Because you only see it as a position of power. You only see that someone can be manipulated if they weren't in a position of power. But who are you to say who's in the position of power? That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? What would you do? A 5-year-old, and a 55-year-old says that he told me to kill that guy and I did.
And
What would you do as a juror?
Hold on. That's the thing. Like, I get what you're saying right there, but I think that's like, the outlier in the whole type of scenario where, like, when you have an adult, convincing an adult to do this type of thing and it results in, harm, then, I think you can get that person, you know what I'm saying, for that type of thing. That's the whole argument.
Convincing is just such a hard argument.
So like when you use the child to the adult, like, of course, I think you're right, but I'm saying, but that doesn't necessarily, make the other, somehow work in the same way, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, like, when you have these, we have this guy, like this guy doing right here, I think you can obviously, pin him for those 5 murders of his people pretty much took out, you know what I'm saying? It's the same type of laws that apply to, like, it's the same type of laws that, like,
okay.
Listen, hold up. We reverted a bunch of laws that there was laws for a long time where we made up, like, like racketeering and stuff. Because we could never get Capone, and shit like that. I think that was you who told me that. You could never get him with that type of shit. So like, you make up that type of, and then that is law. And then especially when it results in murder, like I said, that one dude, David or whatever, I think you can get him for all 5 of those murders.
Hey, okay, I guess
because the actions that he took out.
I'll find. Here's the closest middle ground I can find. I don't even like that you're saying the word convince. So when you use the word convince, I'm like, well, convince to me has to be someone that's innocent. The only people to me that could be innocent would be the people that he raised there. If you were raised on that mountain, then I could understand it. I could get like, okay, you never seen nothing else. You're his child. He's gonna, and he's just got 60 of inbred or whatever, and he's just raising them. Yeah. I can see that. Like, you got a manipulation going on that we'd like get out of control. But when you're talking about, like, someone came, like, one of them was from Australia. Dude came, his right-hand man, came all the way from Australia to be on this mountain with this guy and do whatever he says and follow his religion. I just don't understand why whatever happens from there, right? Why would it be any different than someone following any other religion? They're all fugazi. But that one's fugazi because of the situation. But at one time, Jesus was preaching to 12 people, right?
See, I don't think it's about the religion, you know what I'm saying? I think it's more about, the kind of like abuses going on in that type of scenario,
Okay, but that guy's not getting abused, though. That guy that came from Australia to be like his right-hand man, he's not getting abused.
Yeah, but there's abusive children there,
Right. Okay. So now what? Both of them are guilty now?
No,
you get what I'm saying?
No, David,
it's still Dave.
David's guilty because if that guy's fucking kids, then yeah, he's guilty too.
So, like, does Dave still get a count for that guy fucking a kid?
And I think all those people get a count because they are associates of those types of things. You know what I'm saying? Can you pin them all with, like, murder?
Right.
Maybe not.
So this guy, just say his name's Jack. He comes from Australia. He goes to this mountain, and David tells him to kill someone. To you, both of them get a murder charge?
See, it depends on the circumstances.
Is that not insane? That's insane.
Yeah, but again, it's all circumstantial. So
that's literally what happened.
Listen, if you have the scenario in Waco, then yes. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what happened. A grown-ass man from Australia flew to America to go be on this mountain with this dude. And he never committed a crime. You know what I mean? He's just following what this guy does. It didn't lead to crimes until the FDA, whatever the fuck it was, came. You know what I mean? He wasn't doing crimes. As far as, like, the knowledge of the story, they weren't talking about other people molesting children and shit like that. You know what I mean? They were talking about him doing it. So what I'm saying is, this guy, though, he's a grown man, and he flew all the way across the world to come to someone that he believes in. And he's not doing nothing wrong. You know what I mean? I don't understand, like, why. If you're going in, you should have just got David then. If that's what the argument is, that it's just David, then why did you like go for why did you take the compound? Like, why were you trying to arrest everyone? You know? Like you're prosecuting everyone as individuals, but David is like the ultimate mind here. Where like also, right, at one point, David was those people. He came to that mountain the same exact way, and he worked his way up to be the head of that place. You get what I'm saying? He did that as own free will. And then those other people chose to follow him, bro. They voted on that. When the mom was dying, like the original prophet,
Yeah.
the entire mountain voted on who do they want the next processor to be, and they voted for him over the brother. Like it was a democratic selection. He came from off of the mountain. They chose him. People came from around the world to be there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
It's hard to say he
like,
controlled them. I don't even know you in Australia.
But just like if any type of group took out any type of acts, of course, the way I look at it, the leader would get the most of the of the force. Would get the most of the brunt rather than the grunts would.
I get what you're saying.
So like
what
that's the type of line of
okay. The way I'm trying to put it is,
and in my mind, how our justice system views it.
Right. But to me, the way you're saying it, right? So let's say
this is not me saying it. Like I'm just. This is just what I believe. How
Okay. Well, I'm saying I don't believe in that. So what do you think? Do you believe in that? Like, do you believe?
I think, like I said, I agree. I would agree that that the leader, like I said, would get more charges.
Is he guilty of the other people's crimes? That's the gist of it.
I think I mean like so he okay so yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So then let me lay this scenario out. Right. These agents come running up to this house. David's in the middle, right? And there's 2 people to his left and 2 people to his right. So 5 total, right? And there's 5 agents running up, and they each kill 1. Does David get murder for the one he killed, and then he gets first-degree murder for the other 4 the other people killed too, but everybody else just gets 1 degree of murder?
See, so when you have like this like a small group of like 5 people, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, well, it was 100 people that did that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like in the way that I think that I would see how it works is that like when you get these mass groups, I don't think you can prosecute every single 100 person because one murder. You know what I'm saying? But like in a group of 5, you can't necessarily hit them all with murder, but they can all be accessory to murder. You know what I'm saying?
I guess another way that I'm seeing it, like relating it to, is like a general, right? He's back at base. Or whatever it is, I don't know. I guess it's general. He's back at base calling shots to the Alpha Bravos, right?
Yeah.
If they go out there and they commit war crimes, he doesn't get charged with war crimes, right? But like he's the one that's operating the mission. He's the one that's calling the shots. He's the one that put them there. He's the one that's telling them what to do.
Yes,
but because they went and did something else, he wouldn't get charged with that.
Well, I mean, if he's directly commanding that,
if he commanded it, right,
but
right.
If he's not, then no.
Right, but exactly.
Commanding.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it's the same exact thing, dude. Charles Manson wasn't there. He told them to go there. Whatever they did from there, they did. I didn't write you out a script and say step 1, step 2, step 3. I told you go there. Whatever is said from there is hearsay, she said. You got to be able to prove it, right? Because we're talking about law.
100%,
So what can
100%,
you prove? What can you prove that I said to them? Then hearsay, she said.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And I agreed with that.
Right? So then when I go to the general thing,
and I agreed with
right? So it's the same thing. A general saying, Alpha, Bravo, go run up on those 2 bases up there. It's Vietnam, right? And they say that to Alpha and Bravo. Go take them 2 villages up there. And when they're up there, they go on a killing spree on children and they rape women. Does the general that sent them up there get charged with the rape of the women and the war crime?
If he commanded, yes. If he didn't command it, no.
Okay. So then I'm Charles Manson, right? And I got all my followers. So now so there's this little thin line you created right there, right? Where I'm talking to my followers and I got to go, hey, bro, Nancy Pelosi's up on 3806 Eastern Avenue. And I leave. And I leave my followers to just decide what they want to do with that information. They take it and they go kill Nancy Pelosi at that Eastern Avenue. I never, ever ordered one thing. All I did was tell you what the address was. Same thing as the general. Told you where it was at. What you did from there is what you did. How am I guilty? I get the argument you're trying to make.
It's like the organization of it.
But in law, there is nothing. That was Charles Manson's whole argument. He's not, listen, am I a bad guy? Whatever you want to say, yeah. But in law, you have nothing on me. You have no law that I've broken. I never once told somebody to kill someone. I never once gave someone a weapon. You know, you can't prove
Yeah.
any of this.
Oh yeah.
So how am
And
I
I
getting
get you.
convicted more than
But
all those people got out? The one that committed the murders got out, and Charles Manson was stayed in prison the longest.
I get what you're saying, bro. And but like it doesn't make it any more right because there's no law set in about it. You know what I'm saying? I see what you're saying about, it's all about what, the law.
You're
What
right.
it
It
says.
doesn't make it
And I get
right,
you,
but
and I
you
get
can't
you.
convict me, Steve. You just admitted it.
But
You
that's
got
the
no
thing.
law.
But listen, and that's the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the government, like as it's ever evolving, they're gonna do these things, and secure that power regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Okay.
and me personally would agree in the intervention with that type of thing going on. You know what
Right.
I'm
Because
saying?
just like when
You
Trump's
know?
doing a rally, right, and he says, "We done took that guy out back and kicked his ass in high school," right? He didn't tell anyone to kick his ass in high school. He didn't tell anyone what to do.
And look,
It's
listen,
there,
and
right?
listen,
So that
and
guy
listen,
goes and gets his
and
ass
listen,
kicked.
listen.
Trump never gets
And that's why, and
charged.
listen, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing with it all, man.
It's crazy.
I get what you're saying.
It's a
you know
bunch.
what I'm
It's
saying?
fucking food.
But-
That's so bullshit.
But listen.
Pick and choose.
But like, we would also be silly to also sit there and go off every single thing of how it reads off on the paper. You know what I'm saying? I think everyone would be silly to that when it's all up for a type of interpretation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and of course, Trump's a different story. I mean, the dude's a motherfucking president. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you'll ever see this dude go to jail for any type of shit like that.
You cannot convict
But-
on interpretation, is what I'm saying. You
but-
cannot convict on your interpretation. That's not
Actually,
how it
that's
works.
what people do. That's what lawyers do all the time.
No, you're not allowed to
That's what they
give
do all
your
the time.
interpretation
That's
of
they do
what
all
happened,
the time,
bro. No,
bro.
they
Really
don't.
straight up. What do you think the Supreme Court does?
You're allowed to lay
What
it
do you
out,
think
right?
the straight the Supreme
When you're
Court does, bro.
What's the
Okay,
let's go.
It's
Okay,
up to the final interpretation of them because all it is at the end of the day is the words and how it can be interpreted.
it
can be
never,
different amongst
Steve.
parties.
This never gets to
Straight
the
up.
Supreme Court. Steve, what do you
Straight
need
up.
to? What do you need
Straight
to?
up.
What do you need to convict a murder, Steve?
Well, so
What do you
listen,
need?
But listen.
What do you need to convict a murder, Steve?
I mean, you need hard evidence. Straight up.
You
know
need
what I'm
three
saying?
things, right? You need a body, right? Which
Physical
the
evidence
body,
and
which
then
the
putting someone
body
there at the
belonged
time, most
to the
likely, yeah.
people that went and did it. Charles Manson ain't even there, right? You need a weapon. The people that did it that are there have the weapons, and you need a motive, right?
And I get what you're saying.
And you need a motive.
Yeah.
So now you're just saying, I'm going to try and take my interpretation of what
So-
happened there.
so
Oh,
listen.
you gave them the motive to go up there and do that. That's your interpretation of that. You can't. That's
no,
that's
it's
not
not
how
the
court
interpretation of the
works.
story. It's the interpretation of how the law is written. That's
That
what
is-
people do.
that is
Listen,
not how the court
what
works,
you just
bro.
Talked about was
Innocent.
What you just
Innocent.
talked about was the interpretation of the story rather than what the law is. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody
What do
wants
you
to hear
what
it.
do you think- what do you think-
I
this is
would have
what
gave
shit's
Charles
argued
Manson
over
innocent.
all day.
If I was on a
Argued
juror, it would have
over
been
all
hung
day.
because Charles was innocent. You don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear it.
But that's the thing.
Charles was
That's the
innocent.
thing. It's and that's the thing. That's why you have a jury up for it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They deemed
What?
otherwise.
What?
They deemed otherwise.
Oh,
You know
did
what I'm
they?
saying?
Did they? Did they? So did O.J. Simpson, right? So that O.J. Simpson. Let's talk. Hold up. Let's do something real quick, Steve. I want you real quick. What do you think? Right? Was give me like if you could just think about some off the top of your head, right? Name 5 if you can of the biggest, biggest court cases, right? That were affected by public opinion.
There's a whole docu series on it,
Right?
about, you know,
Because
these
Charles
things.
Manson would be top 5, top 3, if not number 1,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
As far as everyone in the world knew about it, you could not find a juror who didn't already have an opinion of
very
it,
true.
whether it be
Very
biased
true.
or not,
Very
right?
true.
So those people didn't come in there and then get sold on the
true.
same exact thing. Come
Very
on now,
true.
brother.
Very true, man.
I'm not saying Charles was a good guy. He was absolutely a scumbag. But as far as what you brought into that court case and what you had, you could not convict him of first degree, second degree, or third degree murder. You can find something, but you can't convict him of that.
And I get you, man. You know what I'm saying? And I get you 100%. But I mean, like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, these types of groups and people, should not be allowed to like, do this type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day,
Then a priest shouldn't be allowed to preach.
I mean, like, you can point out all the different types of wrong things that goes on in the world. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make anything else more right, more wrong than what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like if that's the case, then we can still talk about, what is it? 800,000 children go missing. The government, people still don't take that seriously, but like, it's like that type of thing, like where you're just like, okay, that's wrong. This shouldn't be happening. So we're like, why did this one thing happen? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do at some point with this type of thing, you would have to intervene regardless if there's a law written on it or not. And I think we would both be wrong to say that these types of things and those types of groups wouldn't be dangerous and aren't dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
But those priests that are up there waving a fucking flower around and tell somebody they're healed from fucking diabetes.
And
we do nothing about that. It's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying though. But just because one happens makes the other one like somehow like wrong in how it turned out. You know?
No,
like,
you have to, but you have to have a established ground in the court of law. That's my whole argument.
And listen, and there's fucking what's the word I'm looking for? There's fucking hypocrisy. You know what I'm saying? Like just because of what I'm saying doesn't mean that there's not hypocrisy happening in the justice system.
So this seems to be a U.S. code here against manipulation, right? Prohibition. Why can't I say that right? Prohibition. Is it? I don't see a B.
Yeah.
Prohibition. Okay. Against manipulation shall be unlawful for any person directly or so prohibition against manipulation shall be unlawful. That doesn't make no sense, right?
See, I think the prohibition against manipulation. So it's saying it prohibits manipulation. And then I think the next sentence is after the code. I don't know.
I just think it's such a fun line, like when they did that. Like I feel like, you know, me and you can come to the negotiating table for this house right now. You talk me down 20 grand. I got manipulated. You know what I mean? I want an officer here. I just got manipulated. He got me for 140. I went at 160. It's such a fine line you're creating.
I get it, but like, you know, when it comes, I mean, like, it's like the same thing of like, you know, if someone stole $100 versus someone stealing 100 grand, you know, of how, and like, seriously, and that, I mean, that's one of the flaws of our type of system, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the burden of like, you know, the officers and detectives that kind of like work these municipalities type of deal, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, that's one thing where like,
that's why they create so many laws.
That's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So like, if it comes down to, you know, of course, like, it won't make national news if, you know, one guy convinces, you know, two other people to commit murder, but if one guy convinces, you know, 300 to, you know, taking acts of like, you know, crimes and murder and stuff, you know, it's like, well, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Because of how big it's gotten at this point.
You know, you ever hear about they cut her baby out?
6 others. They probably got the weirdest search history.
We're getting to the bottom, man. I think they rat it, right?
Acting under Manson's instructions, while it was later accepted at trial that Manson is never expressly ordered for the murders, to a conviction of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
Steve, can you just give me this? Just forget about everything we said right now and just think about what you just read right here, right?
I got you.
So so 2 things right here, right? Is number 1, he never expressly gave an order, right? And then number 2 is the witnesses. The only thing that's saying that he has anything to do with it is the people that convicted the crime. So, in what world can the crackhead who bought the crack rat on the drug dealer? You know what I mean? In what world can that happen? It just doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? You never allow that. You're still going to get convicted of buying crack. You know, it's like if you don't catch the drug dealer with crack, then he wasn't selling drugs. You just have a crackhead saying he bought it from him.
I got you.
No proof.
I got you. I know. I get you, man.
You can't use how can you use the suspects as witnesses?
But listen, and that's why I said you can't use one thing to paint every single case. You know, every single case is so circumstantial and how you got to view what actually happened. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, is this one, you know, that they may have gotten wrong? Sure. You know what I'm saying? But like the intervention, regardless into what was going on, I think we know was something that needed to
positive
happen,
for sure. I'm not arguing that.
Happen, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying you have to do it right.
Wrong? Maybe, bro. You know what I'm saying? But same thing with Waco. It's like the intervention of these things, regardless if you have a law.
But just say
is, you know.
But here's the problem: you give the government 1,000 interventions, right? You just let it be free that they can interfere and they can check anything at any time. How many do they get wrong, dude? How many times, Breonna Taylor? They get it wrong too, bro. You know what I mean? They get it wrong a hell of a lot more than they get it right. So when you talk about just like being able to just say that someone was tied into something with no proof, or be able to invade someone's privacy with no proof, these are problems. Are these people bad? Yes. But under law, you should have to be convicted the right way, right? Just like King Von can beat 6 murders because they can't convict him. It is what it is. It is what it is, bro. If you ain't got the evidence, you can't convict. I feel like the reason that they got a conviction is because the jurors were already so biased. They knew about the story that the media put out there. Helter Skelter, he persuaded them, but really he never gave a fucking order. So that was your whole argument, though.
Listen, I think the Manson, well, that's the thing. I think the Manson argument and what happened in that case is something that could be separated from the actual argument at hand, which is the fact that manipulation and, under the right circumstances, that the manipulation and the direction or indirection, as we saw, that results in murder, can be something that you can prosecute, and something I would agree with prosecuting, because I know that evil people are out there, bro. Just like the dude who was just like the Waco dude. I mean, like, we can make the same thing for that.
How thin of a line are we going to go, bro? I mean, you're talking about literally the thinnest list. I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying, Steve. But literally, can you please just look at the facts of the case right now? Because you're basically.
I'm done. Like I said, I just said Manson was separate. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they get it wrong? Sure.
No matter what it is, you have to look at the facts of the case, bro. And if it's not there, it's not there. So when you're saying like, okay, it's each one's different. Yes, each one's different,
bro.
When
you say the facts of the case, you're specifically referencing to the Manson case. But when we're talking about the argument in hand, whereas manipulation, can be.
Bro, we've seen a lot of government intervention. I'm just giving you one example.
That's
Waco, the people at the animal spot.
This is what I just said. Manson, I'm separating that. Okay, cool. The argument at hand, the core part of the argument, was that the manipulation of people that can result in murder, theft, whatever the case may be, can be convicted and tried. You know what I'm saying? It can be convicted and tried.
Please just listen to me. Prove Charles Manson manipulation.
But listen,
you can't prove
you're talking
it, Steven.
Manson now. But I'm done talking Manson. I've already admitted
anybody.
Listen,
it's the argument against anybody.
And that's the thing. If the evidence is there, then you can convict upon it.
Steven, but I'm showing you that if it isn't there, they will still convict upon it. So why do you think Waco wanted 200 guns? Because it doesn't matter. If they want it, they will get it. That's what it shows, bro. And you're saying like each case is different. I agree with you.
But
I agree that was bad. But you're talking about literally.
But we're even talking
you're
about
literally talking about convicting anyone. You can't convict. Charles is just one example. You can't convict anyone based off of what the suspects in the case are giving you. You have no proof he's saying
right now.
He has no weapons. You have no proof of manipulation.
You're saying right now. I get what you're saying about Manson, but what we were arguing, we were just talking about before all this came up with Manson separate. I've already agreed with you on that. You've hammered that one home. I get what you're saying.
Anyone.
Now listen though. But one thing that led, in the beginning, it seemed like you were against the fact that someone, manipulating someone to murder couldn't be convicted. You know what I'm saying? Like originally, before we even got to the Manson part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like, okay, that's a law. Okay. When you have, I get the whole separate argument is like, if they want it, they'll get it. That's a whole separate argument than what we were just talking about.
I'm saying, period. I don't think so.
But I was never arguing against what you just said. You came and you were just like, okay, well, you if they want the conviction, they'll get it. I mean, like that's a whole separate.
No, that's what
we're
Steve,
talking with the manipulation law.
Right. Our argument is that, right? Is that you believe that someone can be convicted on that, and I don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you need evidence, and you don't have any, then you can't convict it based off of manipulation.
But listen, you just said that there. If you have the evidence there, you know what I'm saying, which is what I already said. If you have the evidence there, then you can be convicted about it. You know what I'm saying? You can be convicted upon it. Of course, when you don't have evidence, it's tough to convict something. And of course, if they want something, they'll get it. I think that's seen.
But I already established to you what my evidence was. I don't want to hear that a grown man told a grown man to do something else. I don't want to hear that. That's not evidence to me. I told you if it's a child or someone that had belonged to that land that entire time, had no, low IQ, whatever among those things, children, special needs, anything like that, the preyed upon. It's not evidence to me that a grown man told Ted to go kill someone and he did it, bro. I don't even care if he did tell him. I don't care, bro, because that is too fine of a line to play with 7 billion people. I'm not sitting here prosecuting every little fucking thing in this goddamn world because you people can't have some fucking self-decisions. I'm sorry. That's going to be part of society. People are going to be weak-minded. Some people are going to follow people. If those people weren't following Charles Manson, they would have followed a priest. If they didn't follow a priest, they would have followed their grandfather. If they couldn't follow a grandfather, they would have followed the fucking Redskins. They would have followed something. They're followers, bro. It's always going to be there. You're not going to change it.
But that's not the part. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? The part of the problem is when you use that into something evil. When you use that for something for evil, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't see it.
You tell, okay, cool. You tell this guy tells that guy to do it. Okay, cool argument. But when you have a guy who organizes a huge group of people and it results in this type of thing, you get pinned for that responsibility because of your organization of it.
Can I
You know
just
what
stop
I'm
it
saying?
with that one line though, where it said he never
But
ordered?
that was Manson. I'm talking in general. You know, when it comes to an organization of people and it results in evil things,
If they
you will
never,
get convicted.
if they never ordered it,
If you get convicted,
if they never ordered
if
it,
you would get convicted, bro, that's what I'm saying, bro.
so
Like,
then a
straight up.
general should be convicted in war. It's the same exact thing.
Or the organization of the type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the
I
separate
can't believe
thing.
that someone could not order something, not be there, not have done the crime, and convict them. It's just that's insane, bro. That's just absolutely insane to me. That's just giving no responsibility to humans. If you're a grown fucking adult in this world, bro, you got to figure it out your fucking self. And if you're susceptible to let some fucking long-haired hippie doing fucking acid tell you to kill a goddamn famous actress and cut her baby out, bro, then look, hey, I'm glad we got you on one thing because we're sending you away for life because you would have done this for anyone. You're a fucking follower. You're the weakest mind probably in society around you, bro. Anyone, a kid could have convinced you to do this. You're just ready to follow anything. We need you out of society. You were going to do something. I'm sorry it had to be a murder for a baby. You were going to do something dumb. You were going to do something that somebody told you, bro. As simple as that.
And that's the thing, bro. I think that's something that we'll never agree on because, you know, like I said, I think you can be convicted on it. I think, you know, the organization of it, you know, you play a role in it. You have a hand in it, you know, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Straight up.
You do. But you can't convict someone of something they didn't do. It's just that you had a hand in it, and you do got a charge. We can figure out a charge. We can figure out a charge.
Like I said, the what you keep referring to is particularly Manson's case. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's great.
Anybody, why do you keep going back to Manson? I didn't even say Manson.
That's what you keep referring to, man.
Steven, it's like, what do you? I did not even just say Manson.
But you literally just said like, but if the evidence isn't, of course the evidence isn't there. You know what I'm saying? Of course, bro. I've said that multiple times. The evidence isn't fucking there. You don't got shit. And then they went and did it for me.
Then you keep going back and saying if someone is the head and created something, they are guilty. Okay, so stop, Steven.
Talking about Manson.
So Steve, stop. Okay, don't worry about Manson. Don't worry about it. What evidence do you need?
Well, you need direct evidence that you know he had a hand in, you know, first of all getting these people together. Second of all, that he you know, preached this type of thing. That he taught this type of thing, that's what he expected from these types of people, you know what I'm saying? And that's what your evidence is, bro. They're straight up. It's like, you know, like that. The crimes that your group committed are straight up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the crimes your group committed. Like we both said, like the leader will get hit with most of it, bro. You know what I'm saying? We said it before.
This is one I just can't agree with people on, bro. It's just if that's what it is, then that whoever's preaching fucking Islam over in Middle East, they have plenty of laws where you're supposed to behead people. You're supposed to injure people all the time. It's allowed to go on all the time. So when you're saying like what they preach, people all over the fucking world preach evil every single day. Christian has evil in it. Islam has Judaism. They all have evil in them, and they're allowed to do them every single day. So when you're saying, oh, it's about what he's preaching, fucking Alex Jones is preaching something. Fucking Rush Limbaugh's fucking preaching something. All these people are preaching something. We now say I heard Rush Limbaugh say that this was fucking that this that this guy, this secret agent lived up here, so I came up here, found him, and killed him. It's Rush Limbaugh's fault. It's just crazy, bro.
But listen, I said time and time again that you can't paint every single one with the same thing, but you keep trying to do that.
I've gave you literally about 60 examples. I don't know what you keep talking about with one single thing. I've gave you Rush Limbaugh, Alex Jones, a general, Charles Manson, Waco. I've given you so many examples from this one. I don't know.
But you don't paint all those with the same fucking thing.
I'm painting them all differently. Paint them all differently.
And that's how you look at it.
The evidence that you gave is not enough to convict a human being of someone else's crime. To say that's what he preached. That's what he preached. It's like, well, then you should be able to convict people to listen to rap music for, you know, doing whatever it is in rap music.
Individual one we can.
You should be able to. Well, then Grand Theft. We can charge Grand Theft Auto for what a kid steals a car. He said he was playing Grand Theft Auto. Now that's legal. It's the same exact fucking thing, bro.
Let me ask you, what do you do with these types of things, like Manson, like Waco? Like, what do you do with those types of things? What do you do?
First of all you can do is protect the youth. All you can do is protect the youth. There's too many people keep saying it. All you can do is try to focus on your youth and say, if there's youth being abused, it needs to be ended. We need a Waco. We need a Charles. Whatever it is. I don't even care if you got to do what you did to Charles if there's youth being abused. Okay? I'm okay with that. Figure it out. Do what you got to do to stop that. When there's adults, bro, there's nothing you do, bro. There's nothing you do. It's the same way that religion was formed in the beginning. It was the same dumbass shit, bro, going on. Just in a different spot with dumber people, and it's stuck for longer. And now if any other thing comes up that sounds just as fucking dumb, oh, that's too dumb. You're caught now. But all them other religions ain't. All them other religions that preach the same dumbass fucking shit. If I don't wear the fucking gowns underneath of my clothes, then I go to hell and burn. I can preach that dumbass shit, but God forbid if somebody wants to preach what you deem dumb. But everyone's telling you that shit's dumb, and yet you keep fucking preaching it, and it keeps producing hate. These people go and shoot up fucking mosques, with crosses on them. You know what I mean? That's what produces fucking
I get
hate.
you, bro.
So
I
it's
get
like,
you, man.
yes, is
I
it a
get you.
problem? That some people, 20, 30 people are out here bundling up and yeah, they're saying some shit. It is what it is. Until they actually do something, then you take it, you do what you can as far as the crimes that they have committed and what lays out there. I don't think you can say, oh, he was up there doing whatever, bro. It's just, it gives too much freedom to that law for all the humans in the world to put blame in places. I totally get what you're saying, but I think once you're an adult, how can I defend you for being manipulated? Is it still possible? Yes. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying as a child, you're susceptible to it. As an adult, you have free will now. Whatever you want to do, you can. If I want to get up with you, bro, and every single day we scream at the skies and go buy AKs and all we want to do is go shoot up a post office, that's our religion. That's the religion that two people in the world follow. And they're going to do what they're going to do. When they do it, handle it. It's simple as that, bro. Everybody's going to do things. They're going to have different opinions. They're going to start different things. It's going to be stupider. It's going to be smarter. You can't sit there and say, oh, I think that that's not appropriate. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Well, and this is the whole thing. It's like, if we were to go down, individual ones, we can go through them and we can talk about them. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we'll arrive at different conclusions for every single different scenario. You know what I'm saying? The law and what they're, reaching out and trying to do is not perfect, and it will never be fucking perfect. You know what I'm saying? But what I see is that they see these types of things, and then okay, well, first they don't have anything in place to work this type of thing. So then it's like, all right, well, this is a problem. Crimes are committed this way. Well, what else can I do? But then put it in writing, than saying that, like, oh, you can't do this. Now, I'm sorry that there will be circumstances. And I mean, when you have all these people in this type of system, it never would be perfect. When you have a Manson case where it has that type of media attention, it won't be fucking perfect. And I'm really fucking sorry to all these people that it happens to, man. But at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is try and protect people. Do we have a perfect answer? You know what I'm saying? Can it be evolved upon? Of course.
Right here. So it's a problem with what you're saying, Steve, because every single religion started out doing exactly what Waco was doing, exactly what Charles was doing. They fucked kids and they fucking committed murder. And that's what they all did, right?
And I get you. And
you don't think there's a little bit of a...
Well, there was no...
Bro, why does this guy on a mountain randomly have people from Australia flying in, bro, right? That's bad. But if Jesus did that, it would be okay. If Moses did that, it would have been okay.
And I mean, it's a little... So for me, it's just a little tough for me to hop on that argument, because it's almost like apples to oranges. What we described as okay... If listen, if what that guy did it, back in, 800 BC, whatever the fuck it is, you create Christianity, but you do it in the future. I mean, if we even look at, the Muslim religion, and we're like, okay, we like Muslims as a religion. Some people choose to go fucking ape shit and kill everybody else. Same thing that, Christians do in Africa, where you have these crazy Christian, militant groups who do the same fucking thing, and they kill Muslims, and then Muslims will fight back and kill Christians. But when you look at something like that in the modern day, you know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, you see this guy, Waco DeVita, and he's doing what we're both saying, what you're saying, what the Christians started out doing, way back when. I think that time period is what's having me trouble hopping on that argument.
Those same teachings are still being preached.
You know what I'm saying? Those same
the Bible didn't change.
The same teachings, yeah, 100%. The same teachings, the beliefs, and what most people want to ignore is the rape, the fucking, and I mean, like I said, that's its own problem. Just because that's something that's going on doesn't make what this this particular one getting shut down.
Listen,
right, any more right.
I got okay. Let me try and put it the best way I can. What I'm saying is none of them are right, Steve. The point that I'm trying to make is,
and I would agree with you on that.
They're
I'm not
all
arguing that.
They're
I'm not
all
arguing that at all.
Fucking stupid. They're all
I agree with you,
fucking
bro. You know what I'm
stupid,
saying?
bro, right? Here's the thing, though. So now when you see that, right, you see that Waco going on and you're like, bro, this is so stupid. They just got people up here. They're having sex with kids. They're killing people. They got everybody following this one guy. It's so stupid. We shut it down, right? It's the same exact thing. Let me
You're all
finish.
right. You're
It's
right.
the same exact thing of when it originally happened, right? But you don't see that that's stupid.
But listen,
you don't see that.
Listen. You're talking to the wrong guy because I do agree with you on that. I would agree with you in that statement that like when you look at those types of things, like of course, like when you ask me, I'm like, yeah, why? Well, I mean, like you shut this guy down. Why are these other ones allowed to exist? I never once wait. When you say that, you kind of say it like I agree with what they do and what those types of religions are allowed to do because I don't. First and foremost, I don't agree with that type of thing. I never made the argument for those types of religions. And if you were to
But
ask me, you handle those the same type of way.
You made the argument for manipulation, though. And what I'm saying is the same thing. It's the same thing that the priest is doing. It's the same thing that a preacher is doing. It's the same exact thing.
But we're talking something that like,
could someone ever in America say, my priest told me to kill this guy?
Because
could anyone get away with that, Steve?
But listen,
my priest told me to go cut this baby out of this actress.
Listen. Some people do that type of shit. But listen,
you're convicted.
But listen, 100%. But it doesn't get convicted in the name of like Christianity. They don't convict the whole Christian religion.
That priest ain't getting first-degree murder.
I know he's not. But listen, but you're also talking something that has an unhealthy grip and imprint and grasp on humans, human culture, and that's something that's been ingrained for thousands.
That's my argument, though. That's my argument.
Yeah, and when you say
that's a problem.
Well, like when you use that type of when you use the religion against me though for the argument, it doesn't help because I don't agree with those things. And when you say that type of thing, you're saying it as if like I agree with what like how that is and how that has a grab on us. Of course, it has a very Hippocratic grip, and it's treated differently than other things.
Right.
And that's wrong.
Right. So tomorrow, should we arrest all cardinals?
I would disband the churches. I mean, period. I mean, like
right. All of them, right?
Like, come on,
everyone in America, every country,
straight up. And
so
on top investigation for like the child abuse.
Right. So I'm with you here, right? So we got something. Let's figure this out, Rear. So that's what I always say. I don't even think you should be able to have places like that. I think if you want a place of worship, it should be your home. If people want to come to your home, they can. But I don't think that you should have these non-tax-free big-ass buildings,
Exactly.
You see a church worth $10 million in a fucking ghetto.
And I agree, man. 100%.
So we have a problem here, right? So all of my feeling is this, it's my viewpoint of this is because of that, though, where I go, even think about this, Steve. Say if tomorrow I started the most positive, loving, fucking religion you could possibly think of, bro. And people just start following and following and following. They would still try to stop that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And what I'm saying is it doesn't matter what the guy's preaching, bro. And it matters that all these people believe the same thing and they believe something that no one else believes. That's the problem.
And I would not argue that at all. You know what I'm saying? Could you hit someone with manipulation? Different argument. But I would not argue with that, what you just said at all in any way. You know what I'm saying? I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that we're both getting hung up on, I think, is like,
I think that settled it right there. That's where I was going.
Exactly. It's not like, we were getting hung up on the whole manipulation type of thing.
I'm just saying it's fool's gold. You know what I mean? It's fool's gold to be chasing it down and saying, this person told this person this, and this is what happened because it happens every day. We just allow certain ones to happen, just like they had fucking the camel smoking cigarettes against the high school. We just allow certain shit to happen. And then certain shit, we're like, oh, he could never be snorting coke out front of high school now. But he can smoke all the cigarette he wants. It's just we pick and choose what we want, what we think, bro. What we want, what we think is going to satisfy the status quo.
And I think one thing that we've touched on a lot of times is how people people have a hard time letting go of old things, especially things that have been ingrained in humans and human culture for years, thousands of years. Religion being one of them. I think it's one thing, and when you see people like Manson and like Waco, I think one thing is that why religion is so sought after, and it's a natural thing. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the type of religion may be, you know what I'm saying? The belonging, the set of life structure, whatever the case may be, whatever people search for. I think people. It's a natural thing for people to search for, and of course, people will fall on the wrong thing, which is why you have things like ISIS,
Right.
Al Shabaab, shit like that.
Right, and then the argument on that is like
Boko Haram, you know,
my mind is never your mind. My mind is never someone else's mind.
and
Their mind ain't your mind.
and
Everyone should have their own religion. You know, yeah. The fact that here's my problem, right? Is my argument of the manipulation thing. The fact that you can be born and go your whole life just doing whoever told you they put you in this school, they told you to read this book. It's one thing if you want your whole life, right? You're 35, you want your whole life, and you found God. That's the thing where I'm like, hey, it might have been better for your life right there. But it's weird when these people are from the time they're born, they're ingrained to read these things that they didn't write, bro. So yes, we're inclined to look for religion, right? But why aren't you inclined to look for your own religion? Instead, you're inclined to just follow one. Well, that's what I'm saying. We're like, if I was making my own, those people were making their own religions. They were wrong. They did bad things, but they were making their own religion. And that was the problem. It's that people were following them. If they did good things or if they did bad things, it would eventually become a problem because too many people are following them, and they never want that. They never will want that.
just like it was just recently. I think it was either California. I believe it was California. I'm not exactly sure where it was. It was a church. They were an established church, and they were the established church of like psilocybin, mushrooms, tripping, that sort of thing. For a while they were allowed to just do their thing, and as they garnered more attention, more media attention, and more people flocked to
Now
it,
it's a
is
problem.
when they shut it
Now
down.
it's a
When
problem. You
they
see
shut
what
it
I
down.
mean? That's
Yeah,
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah, and
Oh, people are digging this. Oh, but no. We got things you can dig. We got Christian. You dig Christian? No, wait. You dig Islam? Oh, no, you Jew? What? Wait, we got plenty of things you can dig. Anything. Don't dig that. Don't dig your own idea, man.
yeah, and that's the thing, bro. And that's like one of the things that like like when we talk about this type of thing.
It's wild because if I was a cult leader, right, and I inspired someone to do something positive and something good came out of it, I wouldn't receive benefits from it, right? Like if you came to me, you were depressed, bro, you're a cutter, right? You're 15 and you live on my land and I just change your life, bro. I change your viewpoint. I get you trade, I teach you things, everything. You go out in the world and you make an idea. You make a business, you make Apple. I get no credit. But if I told you, hey, when you're 25, kill someone, I would be guilty. It's so funny, bro. It is like a joke to me, yo. It's like literally a living joke where I'm just like, it's the stupidest shit I ever heard. Stupidest shit I ever heard.
I think a lot of it is like dealing with like you're asking humans to deal with like the tough questions in life. They're not gonna get it perfect. And when it comes to these like moral conundrums, and when it comes to these types of things where like you have people come up with the wrong solution most of the time, because these things tend to evolve, they tend to change. You think you have the answer, but until you apply something else, you realize that it's actually not part of it. So I mean, like, when we like, of course none of it is perfect, what I'm saying. None of it at all is perfect on how they attack and pick and choose who they choose to go after. You know what I'm saying? Like none of that is perfect.
Right. But every day you make a tough decisions, right?
Yeah.
Because life is full of tough decisions.
Yeah.
Right. And I can't sit there and even though you're my best friend and I see you more than anybody outside of okay, I still can't control what decisions you make every day.
Right.
You're still going to go and do your own thing no matter what I say. Right. So if I tell you good things and you do bad, then is it my fault? If I tell you bad things and you do good, did you do better? You know what I mean? Did you not listen to me? You still listen to me. You get what I'm saying? If I told you go kill someone and instead you went and had a baby, you still listen to me because you did the opposite now. In your mind, that's not who I am. You went and did a positive thing. You know what I mean? You chose. You made that conscious decision of, oh, this guy wants me to go cut a baby out, dude, in Hollywood Hills. I got to be able to make a conscious decision. I love everyone, bro. I have compassion for everyone. I have empathy for everyone. And that's why I say I wish all my brothers and sisters the best. But if you can't keep up, then I got to go. I can't stay back here trying to pull 1,000 people on this tugboat. You know what I mean? I could take 10. I could take 10, but I can't pull 1,000 people. So if I can't trust you to make your own, first of all, if you're coming with me, you're with me. You know what I mean? You're trusting me. I'm not here to make your decisions for you, brother. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you my opinion. You're going to share your opinion, and whatever you do is on you. You can't pull everybody with you. You got to let go of some people, even though you still want them to do better. You're still saying, hey, I hope one day you figure it out. Might not be with me, but you figure it out. But these people, we all get it. and I'm going this way. You know, even though I still love you all, but you guys are willing to listen to other people. You guys are willing to stay in that trap. And I'm trying to tell you that this is a trap. And if you don't get it, what else can I do? Should I stay in the trap with you? It reminds me of like two mice looking at a glue trap. It's just like, I'm like, bro, that's a glue trap. And you just run over it and get stuck. Should I go out am I supposed to be your boy? Am I supposed to be compassionate and say, I'll die with you? Even though I told your dumbass that was a glue trap? Or am I supposed to go around that glue trap and continue on my successful life and try to make other changes in the world for better people? Because you made that mistake, brother. I can't control it. You can raise your son whatever way you think's gonna happen, and he can do the complete opposite, bro. And that's what I'm saying with the manipulation thing. It's like, just because someone said something, anybody can do whatever they want from there. So unless you literally have a child's mind, you have a special needs, or you're a child, I don't want to hear it, bro. Because though it's bad, and though I don't want you listening to those people, you are your own adult.
But see, but along the same lines, just to use the kind of your analogy, kind of against you, for a quick moment, but like if that guy, just okay, he fell into a trap, okay, cool, whatever, but if there was a guy, you're all, trying to make out the forest, and then you come across, there's a fork in the road, another guy's there, he knows where the trap is. Guy comes up, he's just like, oh man, where I gotta go? He's just like, oh, go over here, man. It's safe over that way. I just came from there. He just goes, fucking dies that trap. I think, if we were in like a village setting, we'd be like, I think we're gonna get rid of that guy. I think we gotta do something about that guy right there. You know what I'm saying?
And that makes a great point, right? But here's my thing, bro. But here's my thing.
It's like a dilemma.
Right. So here's my thing, right? So you're in this forest, right? And now this is apparently like a forest of life and death, the way you're describing it, right? So now,
village style,
right. So we're making life and death decisions, right? So why would you ever depend on me, right? Why would you never, ever go without second checking what someone says when you're living in a village style where there's primates everywhere and you got to worry about survival at every instinct? I don't care if you're Steven, bro. You're my best friend. Steve, you told me it's a left. I'm checking. I'll tell you if it's a left. You said it's a left. I'll tell you if I agree with you.
I get you.
I'll tell you. If not, I'm making a right.
I get you though, but that's what makes it a
trap. I'm making a right,
It's not something that's obvious as a trap.
A trap, though, it comes from you listening to someone. Did you set that bamboo up, underneath my bed and then drop me on it, or whatever it is? Did you push me off the highway? No.
See, man, if we were around a village fire and we're discussing this and you're over here in front of me and that guy just told that guy to go towards that trap, I'm just like, bro, I don't even know.
Bro, okay, yeah, you're right. He tells him go through a trap. Okay, so who told him to go through the trap? You told him go into the trap? You're out of here. Who went to the trap? You're out of here.
Well, that guy's probably dead.
You get what I'm saying, though? We don't want neither one of them people, bro.
I'll get you, man.
You don't want the guy who follows people to the tracks.
It's a bad. So, so what I see when kind of like what I'm noticing. So, like, what I see your argument you're making is like, it's like a balance of like in a fight between natural selection and like evil people, you know what I'm saying? Just
and being a grown adult, bro.
And of course you can't help anybody, you know what I'm saying? But like,
it's just funny how
just because someone's a little naive makes them dumb. It's not necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
I just geek so much because like we put ourselves on this crazy
everybody has
pedestal, bro.
And
we just put our okay, and that's okay, dude. But doesn't mean I gotta work with it. If I don't like your strengths and weaknesses, I have the right to leave you.
And that makes sense. But like, like when you're talking about something with like, manipulation where it's like, okay, so this guy may be a little naive, but man, he's hell of a fucking mechanical engineer. It's like, you work with some things to help benefit, because it has benefit in other ways. You know what I'm saying?
Not naive.
You don't usually send the mechanical engineers on the front lines to use the gun. Just because they made the gun doesn't mean they're good with guns.
Mechanical engineers also are usually naive.
If
we're gonna make that argument.
I mean, that's because
just like you said with the gun. I mean, what? You can't be a mechanical engineer and work with guns and no guns. I mean, it's the same thing.
Well, you don't send the mechanical engineer to on the front line.
So now mechanical engineer can't do no fighting. If he wants to shoot the guns to help against the tirade that's attacking us, you're a mechanical engineer. You got to go work on the gears.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're being serious or what. You know what I'm saying?
Now the mechanical engineer has to be a mechanical engineer. It's the apocalypse, and you still got to do exactly what you hated doing every day for 40 hours. It's the work apocalypse all time.
See, it's so weird that you said that.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I get it, but it's just like it's when you're trying to get across a point. You know what I'm saying? We're in the middle of an argument. Are you serious?
It's just a joke about that. My whole point about it,
I get your whole point,
has been spread out. The fact of the matter is, around the campfire there, if you want a guy that's going to sit here and say, hey, you know what? I'm never going to tell you guys the truth. I'll always tell you what to do, and I'll always tell you the right thing. I think you got the wrong leader, bro. I think a leader is someone who says, I'm going to take all of your opinions into account, and I'm going to value the evidence that you get and what your traits bring to me and what you have to offer me. And it's okay if you leave me. If you don't think that I have the traits to offer you, you have the right to leave, right? But when strong people meet strong people, there's really no discussion, right? It just kind of happens, bro. Like the best example for that is like damn it, David Goggins and Cameron Haynes, right? Don't know each other at all, bro. Meet up, run 16 miles, go bow hunting. It's just iron sharpens iron, brother. Iron sharpens iron is the best way to put it. Compassion is a thing, and I do have compassion. But when you're talking about this survival instinct of like, we do have to try and progress. Like, I can't, if I just keep having people that I keep saying that's a glue trap, and you keep running on that glue trap, bro, I'm never going to do nothing with my life but tell people that's a glue trap. That's going to be my life. So am I going to sit around here all day telling people about American corruption and, oh, how they got you this way and how they do it this way and how you never seen it like this all day long? If we meet up and we're together, that information will easily get spread. You're going to be around that wavelength, bro. We're going to be on those same type of vibes. You're going to give me your ideas. I'm going to give you my ideas, and we're going to form new ideas. I'm not going to listen to whatever you say and believe it. You're not going to listen to whatever I say and believe it. That doesn't make a good tribe. That doesn't make a good village. That's not what you want.
See, I get you, but like, you know, like I think that argument, it's tough for it to work in my mind because the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay,
I don't even see
you're
the
talking.
argument there.
But listen, but like, you know, like when I'm thinking about that type of thing, I'm like, okay, well, you're talking, you know, those types of Irish, that's the minority of people. You know what I'm saying? It's the minority of people right there. You know what I'm saying? So like, you still need those people that follow. They're very instrumental.
But you don't find
You know
silver with iron. You know what I mean?
They're very instrumental.
And you have a
you know,
silver
what
mine.
human society is.
And you
know,
have the silver mine. You have the gold mine. You have these other mines. And I'm not saying that any one is less than the other. See, that's where it's getting confused, where you're like, iron is number one. I'm not saying that, bro. Everybody's beautiful in their own way. All I'm saying is just because you're not iron doesn't mean that you're weaker than me, but you're on a different wavelength. You need other people on your route to life. We're like, this iron, this is what we're doing on this life. Not saying I'm right, not saying I'm the best, not saying I'm the strongest, not saying anyone else is weaker, not saying anything like that. Whatever you chose is beautiful. I love your life. Live your life. But it doesn't fit into what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to do iron shit. You know, you're trying to do gold shit. And that's okay. Do your gold shit and live your life and be happy. And you're fit into where you fit in. But iron's going to do iron shit. And we want to do it with iron because iron does this shit, you know? Like,
yeah, but like, I think so it's just weird because like what you just said is just kind of like, it's a separate thing to when you're talking about like, you know, like the manipulation of kind of like people, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I thought we were just past
you know,
that.
I mean, like, because it was kind of like root. I mean, it was like rooted in that where like, you know, like we were talking about keeping the iron around.
I'm talking about leaving people behind now.
You know what I'm saying? And I get that, you know, and I get what you're saying, but like all that came from like that original.
Yeah, I'm talking about leaving people behind and the fact that like even though you love people,
it was such a weird. It was just a weird transition. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know, it's just like it's just
what we do.
That's all.
now that's what I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, I get you, and I mean, like, you know, like there's nothing wrong with that at all.
You can feel bad for someone and leave them, bro. You could care about
someone
and not
Oh
bring
yeah,
them.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You know, and I mean, like, and 9 times out of 10, it's 10 times out of 10, it's the healthy thing to do.
And it doesn't mean that what you did was the right decision. Nobody. That's my whole argument tonight is that no one can tell anybody what the right decision is, bro. Follow your path. And next thing, that's what I keep telling you, bro. I'm like, I bet if we just do what we keep talking about doing, we're just going to run into other people that are doing it. That's what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? Like, no one's wrong.
Yeah.
What we're doing we're not chasing millions. You know, we're just saying, we're going to do this. And you run into those people that are
100%, bro.
Not saying that was the right decision. If you chose to stay back in Baltimore and work at a grocery store, you hung around people that worked at that grocery store, that made you happy. You was happy every day. You loved that life. Great, bro. I'm happy for you. That's what I want. I just want everybody to be happy with the life they live. All I'm saying is like, I'm going to be unhappy with my life if I keep running with people that keep wanting to run into that same glue trap. I'm going to be an unhappy person then, you know? So it's okay that you want to go in that glue trap.
Yeah.
Other people are going to meet you there.
Yeah.
But I'm going around. And I'm going to keep going because I got other spots to bet, you know?
Okay.
and I bet when I get up there, there's a bunch of people who realize that was a glue trap and didn't have to be told. That's what I bet.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I get you. It was just like weird because it was like you were like when you started saying that you were arguing it for a moment. Like I was saying something else. I'm just like, what is this guy talking
I said
about?
a lot.
I was like, what is this guy talking about right now, bro?
I said
It's
a
like
lot.
when you started talking about it was like you're arguing against like I said something against that. I'm just like, what's this?
I get
What is this guy
frustrated,
doing
I'm
right now, man? I
always-
was like, what?
Because I'm
Because we weren't talking about that. I'm just
Dude,
like, dude, what's this?
But I'm
dude
always right there because like you know we talked about before where it's like you're kind of saying the counter opinion because that's kind of that's the argument, that's the conversation. But it doesn't mean that what I'm saying you disagree with or what you're saying I disagree with, right?
It's how you
'Cause-
sound sometimes, though.
But
you
listen,
know?
but we both kind of agree that we kind of are trying to float that 50 line, right? Like you're trying to be, like you said, every case is different. So you're trying to treat it with that 50-50. We're like, okay, I got to go here for here, but then I want here for here. And you find it, you know? And there's just certain ones as I grew that like really bother me. Like, so like with that one of like the manipulation thing, like that bothers me more than like even like them trying to take your guns away. You know, even though I could go all day about that, this one bothers me more because I just feel like you're creating a weaker society with that type of mindset. Now, can it happen? Yes. Is it wrong? Yes. Do we want to stop it? Yes. All that. Totally with you. That's why I'm saying I'm not making an argument against you. I'm just saying I think we need to start understanding that when you get to this number, you got to kind of go down here sometimes too and go, bro, we can't take care of everyone. You got to make your own decisions.
And I mean, like, you know, with the whole thing, you know, involved in that is like, you know, I agree. You know what I'm saying? I agree 100%. You know, it's like, you know, when I'm talking from like, you know, it's like, okay, you know, when I say these types of things, I'm like, okay, well, like what would work, you know, when we were discussing earlier, what would work with in government? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would you want to govern people? You know, how would I want to try and handle the situation in a system of people? You know, because at the end of the day, people look at the government as kind of like an entity in itself when it's just a bunch of people.
So here's where I think I'll make ground with you, right? Is the fact that like we both agree that. So we keep going back to why is that the problem, right? It's the fact that there's too many people here, right? So that's the main problem that we keep going to is like we got too many people to deal with, right? So that's where I go, bro. You can't deal with that. You can't solve that. We already said what the problem is. So anything you say after that, you're not solving the problem until you solve that, right? So how do you solve that? As bad as it sounds, bro, it's natural selection. It's some people have to go. Some people are going to go. It sounds horrible and people don't want to say it. And you can sound like the bad guy, whatever it is. It's the world, brother. And it's what it is. It's always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to lower those numbers. Those people wouldn't have been brought along in a stronger economy, a stronger society, a stronger time. They were allowed to come along because we had those privileges, right? We can give that to someone. I can give you a new heart, so why would I say I can't, right? Totally makes sense. And I love it, and I love people, and I'm glad we do that shit. But there's also a point where you go, dog, if someone told you jump off that mountain and you jump, I can't even be there all the time.
That's jump off mountain. And that's where you come into the complication as a human of being, you know, it's like, you know, how much do I want to take responsibility for other people, you know, and, you know, how much do I feel responsible for, you know, the other people, and how much do I really want to take care of them? You know what I'm saying?
Like, right. And I've struggled with that all my life, bro. And that's what I'm saying. The glue trap idea where I'm like, that's a glue trap. That's a glue trap. So what I realized, right, is like, I can sit here and I can keep telling you it's a glue trap, or I can go around you, right? I can go farther in life. And when I make it, I'm going to remove that glue trap. So no one has to tell anyone it's a glue trap there anymore. You get what I'm saying?
I get you, bro. I get you.
So the compassion thing is like you want to love everyone in there, but for me to do better for people, for me to be better to society and humankind, I can't get stuck there. You know, that's just what it is. I'm going to make better advancements. I'm going to try and get rid of those problems that you're getting stuck in. But if none of us get past it, that problem's just going to keep hitting us, bro.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I love you all.
100%.
That was a great talk, dog. I'm glad you heard my opinion. I got your opinion. I think we both find some common ground there.
100%, man.
People
love it always.
People don't trust anybody, bro. I love you. I love Kay. I don't trust neither one of y'all. I don't trust neither one of you. I trust you. I trust you more than anyone else. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I don't trust you one bit. And if you tell me it's a make a left, I'm a check.
I told you, bro.
And listen,
just like the other day, you were like, "Yo, bro, they woodpeck for houses." I'm like, "Bro, I want to Google it."
And listen, here's the thing, and here's how I do it. Here's how a strong team works. You tell me make a left, I check it, right? I tell you make a right, you check it, right? So we kind of go back to a little dumb thing, but COD, you know, we went through it the other day. Hey, go left. I like right. Right it is, bro. I'm with you. You feeling that? I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. You know what I mean? Works out or not. We're on the same page. We're going. We both bounce something off. Never said I was right. That was my feeling. That's the way I was leaning. You said you was feeling something else. It's not an argument of facts here. You know what I mean? You're feeling that. I'll follow you, bro. I'm with you, bro. Strong team. You bounce off each other. No followers. Leaders.
And listen to the thing.
Leaders leading leaders.
And this is my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'll ever be the person where I go, I'm like, all right, we're going down right. We're going to the trenches, and that fucks up. We're in the mud. We die. I'm never the one just to be like, well, if you'd have known the guy was downstairs and had an eye over there, like I said earlier, it's like we wouldn't be
right.
I went left with you. That's like, me, I'm the type of guy. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna try and make a decision. You know what I'm saying? With you, I'm not gonna try and make an argument. If
there's a problem, then
if you would have immediately put it and been like, nah, go left, go. I'm telling you, I would have been like, all right, left it is. You know what I'm saying? It would have been done in there.
Right.
There,
right.
You know
Instant decision like that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And then would have lived with whatever it was from there. We never would have died. I would have been like, oh, right. I knew we should have.
But you spoke up and you said something, right?
Exactly.
So now we're working off each other's ideas.
Exactly.
There's no follower here.
Exactly.
Where it's leaders leading leaders.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Sometimes the leader's gonna follow. Sometimes the follower is gonna lead. It's got to it's a 50-50. That's what we're talking about. Kind of, okay, he's got a better the final thought I want to say on it is like that mechanical engineer you was talking about earlier, right? What good is he if he don't speak up in the tribe circle? He's no good with all that info if he don't speak up and say left, right?
Yep.
What's he good for if you don't tell it? Speak up, people. Make your own decisions. Bounce off each other. Create better visions. Love you all. Thank you for checking us out. Thank you, bro. I know that was a mean rant. It was a great talk. Thank you.
We got a live event scheduled this Saturday.
Saturday, baby. We're gonna definitely have Ricky up in here. Ricky up here. UFC 256.
Boom.
Tony El Cuckoo. Let's go, baby. Versus Two Brox.
We're going live. We're watching it live. We're commentating it live. Tune in December 12th. We'll be back Friday. We're back Saturday. We'll see you then. Love y'all. Y'all have a good night. Like, share, subscribe. Oh,